Jason Momoa was so good as Khal Drogo that he couldn't find work for years because no one thought he spoke English. His career finally took off with films like Aquaman. But this talented actor spent years broke because no one ever thought to give him an opportunity to show off his acting chops, which go way beyond his rough and wild Game of Thrones character. At one point, he was struggling to pay for his $3.6 million California mansion, but now the actor is worth a cool $14 million. Here's how Jason Momoa ended up broke and dug his way out of debt. On screen, Jason Momoa looks like he could take on the world and win every time. It's hard to imagine this 6'4" actor begging anyone for a job. But for years after he got his big break as Khal Drogo on Game of Thrones, Momoa was struggling to be taken seriously. Since he didn't come from a privileged background, getting more roles after Game of Thrones was the only way Momoa could pay for his $1 million home and keep his family well fed. He's everywhere now, with both Aquaman and Dune on his impressive resume, but you'll probably be pretty surprised by his humble beginnings and how much he had to struggle even after getting a role in one of HBO's most popular shows ever. Jason Momoa was raised by a single mother in rural Iowa, while often visiting his Hawaiian father in Oahu. One of his earliest passions was modeling, and he even won Hawaii's Model of the Year award in 1999. He got his start in acting at the age of 19 when he and his friends decided to attend an open casting call for Baywatch Hawaii. His primary motivation to audition was to meet hot girls, but he ended up getting a part despite having zero acting experience and appeared on the show for 3 years. It was a small part, but it did ignite Momoa's love for acting, and when the series wrapped in 2001, he officially moved out to LA to look for more work. It took Momoa about 4 years to even find an agent willing to take him on, but by 2010, an impressive audition landed him the role of Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones. Still, this wasn't the end of the actor struggling to make ends meet. In 2019, he opened up on Instagram about what it was like filming and how he and his castmates were too broke to fly home during their breaks. Instead, they rented a van and used their time wisely on a road trip around rural Ireland. Game of Thrones might have been his big break into show business, but there were a few issues that persisted after Momoa's time on the series was up. The first problem was that he was really only on the show for about a season. The HBO original generated more than $2 billion worth of profit for the network during its run, and stars like Emilia, Clarke, and Kit Harington were raking up to $500,000 per episode towards the last few seasons. But Momoa didn't receive anything even close to that during his time on the show. By the time Game of Thrones was at the height of its fame, Momoa was no longer one of the show's biggest stars and could barely make money off its success. The second problem was that now people only recognized Momoa as the barbaric Khal Drogo, and while he was excellent on the show, he was quickly typecast as the strong and silent type, or not cast at all. Casting agents doubted the actor could be funny and had low hopes about his acting range and ability to show complex emotions on screen. He was often thought of as beautiful and having the potential to draw a female audience, but without a lot of substance. The actor also revealed that some people didn't even think he spoke English. Momoa opened up about how much this dismissal hurt not just his career, but his confidence, telling Entertainment Weekly, quote, "They didn't know I was playing a role. I'm nothing like Drogo." Momoa did get another acting opportunity in 2011's Conan the Barbarian that he was quick to accept, but the role didn't nearly have as much nuance or impact as the actor would have liked. It also didn't make nearly as much money as he and the studio had hoped it would. The film tanked in terms of revenue, bringing in a little over $48 million worldwide on a $90 million budget. Around this time, Jason Momoa was estimated to be worth about $4 million, but the income opportunities were quickly drying up, and Conan has hurt his career more than helped it. In 2015, it was reported that the actor owed about $138,000 in unpaid taxes, and that was only the tip of the iceberg. Momoa also spent several years struggling to pay the bills at his $3.6 million Topanga Canyon house that he shares with his wife, actress Lisa Bonet, and their 2 children. The actor even admitted that he was, quote, starving after Game of Thrones, and it's very challenging when you have babies and you're completely in debt, end quote. His life definitely wasn't going quite like he pictured it would after starring in one of television's most successful shows. But then a huge opportunity came knocking, and finally someone was willing to take Jason Momoa more seriously. Saving his family from debt was a job for a superhero, so Jason Momoa decided he would become one. In 2016, Momoa officially made his first appearance as Aquaman in Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, and then reprised his role in 2017's Justice League. This all led up to the release of Aquaman in 2018, which grossed more than $1.1 billion worldwide and finally put Jason Momoa in the successful lead actor role that he'd been chasing for almost 20 years. He was even one of the highest-grossing stars of 2018 at the international box office, cracking the top 50 and landing at number 48, which is a huge accomplishment, especially when he was broke 3 years earlier. Now, Jason Momoa has 2 iconic characters under his belt, and suddenly there are acting opportunities everywhere. Aquaman gave him the opportunity to appear as the underwater hero in the Lego Movie 2, the second part. Apple TV Plus also tapped him to star in the sci-fi series C in 2019 and paid him a reported $600,000 per episode for the 8-episode season. Thanks to these new successful projects, the actor's net worth has skyrocketed to about $14 million, and he's no longer in debt. But while Jason Momoa loves his superhero role and the intense drama he often gets to portray with his characters, he's also admitted he would like to diversify his acting skills even more. Still, these roles are the perfect opportunity to put food on the table while chasing the artsy projects he really wants. Soon, he'll appear in Dune as Duncan Idaho. The movie has a reported budget of $200 million, and Momoa's guaranteed a pretty good payday. But is the actor really out of the woods when it comes to being in debt in the future, or will starring as a superhero just end up with him getting typecast all over again? That's actually pretty unlikely. Actors who play superheroes are often some of the highest paid in the world. In 2019, Chris Hemsworth, Robert Downey Jr., and Chris Evans all made the Forbes top 10 highest paid actors list for that year. Sure, they're Marvel stars, but DC is working on creating a cinematic empire just as rich. And Aquaman 2 is due for release in 2022 if all goes well. Jason Momoa also happens to have his own production company, which was founded in 2010, called Pride of Gypsies. The company has produced everything from ads to a short film about Momoa's family, and the film Road to Paloma, which the actor starred in alongside his wife and also co-wrote and directed. So with a much more comfortable fortune to fall back on and lots of future earning potential with DC and his own company, it seems like Momoa is finally getting the career he wants and rightfully deserves. With Dune on his resume, he's now starred in iconic series from fantasy to superhero to sci-fi. As for what direction he'd like to take his career next, we'll have to wait to find out, but we imagine we'll see Jason Momoa on our screens for many years to come. Do you think Jason Momoa was unfairly typecast after Game of Thrones? What do you think his best role is? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to our channel for more. Thanks for watching.